Hello, hello. This time I'm playing in Salo, a little weekend tournament. First round I faced You're Not FK 1800 player. Um, and I was inspired by Hikaru's game. He played the Balok defense. I think this is named after like a correspondence international master. And yeah, it's not so popular. I don't think I've ever played it. It's really trash. But against 1800, I thought, okay, let's give it a try. And also saw that Hikaru has beaten a grandmaster with this opening many years ago, like 18 years ago. So if White doesn't know what he's doing, maybe it's playable, kind of. Knight c3. I think this might be better than the usual e takes f5 because this helps black develop. Knight c3 is kind of more annoying. I develop, he just protects. So take. I looked at this with the computer beforehand a little bit, but I have to say it just looks kind of stupid for black. And the only good thing about this opening is that there's basically just only one trap, and Yona fell for this. He takes, and checks. And this is actually a mistake. Like this is like a puzzle rush tactic, but unfortunately it somehow just doesn't quite work. Let's play g6. Yeah, he takes. Let's just take back. I lose my rook, but somehow the queen is offside, and the pawn is hanging, and I don't know. Somehow magically, black is fine. Like I saw this um, quickly with the engine. Bishop e3 and knight b4. This was the last of my prep. Um, I really had no idea what was going on. It's just like a very tactical game. If black takes, then white castles, and it's kind of annoying that the rook is also attacking the knight. So that's why knight b4. And if white now castles, um, there's queen e4, rook d2, queen g2, queen g2. During the game, I thought this is very unclear after bishop h6, but computer says, oh, this is completely fine for black. Just play like bishop e6, queen f8, and then king d7, and black is just better slightly. And if white takes the rook, I think there's even a checkmate. Boom. So it's like, but all this is like, this is not easy to calculate at all. But of course, for an engine, it's no problem whatsoever. During the game, I was also considering bishop f5. And I should also mention that during this game, we were both basically just blitzing out moves. So, didn't really have time to calculate. Just had to make a move fast, because why not? If 1800 blitzes against me, of course I have to blitz back. Knight f3, very interesting idea. He sacrifices the exchange back, but the idea is that he wants more. He wants my queen. And here I find a pretty nice idea. Knight c2. The idea is that if white takes, and he should. I get to develop it check, king d1, and I get to castle, and it should be somewhat equal. Instead, he played the more interesting move, rook e2, and yeah, here again. Should have thought for a little bit longer, but yeah, what can I say? When you're blitzing, you have no time to think. Also, my move is kind of natural. Just take. I was worried that I would lose my knight and bishop h6 would come, and I would lose the bishop too. Yeah, I was just kind of worried. Like this knight takes the bishop for like the most natural move. But yeah, it's not ideal. Computer says there's two moves, bishop e6, and even a crazier move, king d7. If bishop h6, it's just gonna be a check. Queen takes, queen f7, and the king can run to c6. I can play like b5 or b6. The king is safe, and the white king is actually kind of like weaker. The light squares are weak, and I have the bishop. But yeah, it's not easy to play like that. So I just took and played bishop e6, d5, and castles. And the problem with this thing is that I just have a bad bishop here, and he has a strong knight. And it's just suffering. Queen d7. And here, for some reason, he didn't take a pawn. He could have, and I didn't know what to do here. I can play bishop g7, but he can just take another pawn. And white should be better, because it should be easier for him to promote his pawns than my pawns. He has like good control over everything. But he instead put his queen to h3, hoping to trade the queens, but of course I don't allow it. Now the queen is kind of offside. Knight d4. Yeah, this was just like a mistake. He miscalculated badly. Queen a4. It's kind of double attack on the knight, on the pawn, and also queen a5, queen d5 is coming. After the game, he said he missed queen c3, queen a2, knight b5, and he just missed this check. And yeah, there's nothing. The knight is hanging. So that's a bad miscalculation. Queen e3 instead looks like a pretty good try. White is controlling the e file completely, and the bishop is bad on f8. And if I ever play queen a5, queen d5, there's rook e8 problems. So I have to keep on controlling that square. Bishop h6. If white takes, I take the knight and then the pawn. So f4. And now it's my turn to miscalculate really badly. Um, and do a check. King d3. And I did even a further miscalculation. Here I saw, like this was my plan. I take the pawn, rook e8, and play rook c8. And I saw that this doesn't work because of queen h3. I lose my bishop, but I actually missed that there's even a checkmate. So I'm kind of worried that if my bishop on was on g7, I might have played like this and lost the game. That would have been very sad. Anyway, I played queen a6, king d2, and I saw no other way to play to continue the game except just go back to a4, just losing a full move here, and it's white's turn again. Rook e7, hoping for some kind of knight e6 in some cases. A6, so finally some luft. G3 looks solid. F4 is defended now. No more tricks there. Rook c8. Defending the pawn. I think computer was here saying that why should instead play faster, rook h7, not waste a move on g3, bishop f8, and now just play queen c3, attack the pawn, and also stop queen a5 check. I defend and then some kind of a3 move, and white is just dominating positionally now that all his pawns are protected. The bishop on f8 is just so badly placed. But he played slightly slower. And now I play rook c8. Now I'm preparing to play queen a5. If I did this immediately, he could play queen c3 here. And if I take on d5, he has to check here. So that's why I have to first protect the pawn. Rook h7, bishop f8. And here kind of surprisingly, in time trouble, my opponent plays the best moves. Queen c3, queen a2, queen b3. For whatever reason, this is the best sequence for white. It's kind of hard to believe, but perfect chess is it is weird. Queen a5, king d3, maybe a slight inaccuracy. Maybe king e2 was better, stopping queen e1. Now I get my queen in, and here the best for white is to check here, king a8, and then just go back. And somehow this is equal. I have no idea why. It's just this. I guess the c7 pawn is slightly weaker now that the king is not protecting it. I don't really understand it. Instead he played queen c3. This is kind of easy to understand that this is not perfect because the queen is not protecting the pawn anymore. And that's a problem. I do a check. Queen g2. Also maybe not the absolute best move, but good enough. Queen c4. Another mistake. Just dropping the b2 pawn. There was 96. The computer was saying that this is fine for white. I mean, it looks scary because the knight is pinned, but also it's hard for me to apply more pressure to the knight. And there's always all kinds of tactics like knight a6 I have to calculate. And now I took a pawn, knight e6. Now it's a bit too late. I play c6, so finally I get to activate my rook. And my queen is also nicely defending my weak pawn in front of my king. He takes the bishop, but I just take back. And now the e-file is open. D takes c6. Do a check. Again, maybe not the best move, but good enough at least against my opponent. Queen c6. And here for some reason he didn't go for the endgame. I don't know why. Maybe he just stopped thinking here because I have two extra pawns. But he gets to play rook g7, get one more pawn. And yeah, it's not like completely obvious to win this endgame. Rook g7 was played instead, but this allows me to activate my queen and then activate my rook. Also, maybe not the best move. White could play rook g8 and the game would again continue a bit longer. Instead, I think he had given up already, not really trying to defend this position anymore. So he quickly played queen b4, not really doing anything there. I just play rook c5, completely blocking the queen. My queen is defending the pawn. Rook d5 or queen d5 is gonna happen. Should be checkmate soon. He does one more check, king a7, and resigned here. So this game was, yeah, very exciting. Lots of mistakes. I guess the kind of game I was hoping for. Uh, Hopefully next round I will think for a bit longer because, you know, that's what you're supposed to do when you're playing classical chess. Yeah, that's it for now. Bye bye.